Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith. This is Transfers Live. It says it there. Transfers Live. We are live with... What's that?
Got my transfers cap on.
Have you?
Yeah.
You're a weird guy, you, because you don't wear caps all the time.
No.
Or even often, just now and again.
But
you like to pop up with a little cap on.
It's like the transfer window.
Yeah.
Every sort of 6 to 9 months, I'm like, pop open.
Ah, right, okay. Did you have a little weekly break like we had the other week with the transfer window?
You'll notice I didn't wear it for 5 days.
You didn't? I didn't notice that. I like the way you've synchronised your hat wearing with the transfer window. Loads of stories to get out. As you can see from the thumbnail there, talking about the clear out begins, yeah? United getting rid of some players. It looks like 1 or 2 players might be heading closer to the Old Trafford exit door. So we're going to get into that. Plus, we'll have the usual things as Bryan Mbeumo update. Where would we be without a little update on Bryan Mbeumo? And also, Victor Gyokeres will probably have something on him and maybe something on Hugo Ekitike. Why not just go for the hat-trick of, you know, transfer rumours while we're at it? It's all about...
Let's see what's going on.
It's all about those three.
I'm excited, Jay.
Loads of people in the chat and the comments already. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe, and you are getting involved in the chat and the comments. Real recognises Real in there. He says, evening lads, evening to you. Manchester Mavericks in there. JB is in there as well. I think Ross Murphy, Heaven Soul, all good stuff. What have we got for us first?
Mbeumo. Let's talk. Quite frankly, Mbeumo doesn't care for Spurs.
Is it Frank? Thomas Frank? Yeah. Can we start the timer as well there, please, chaps, that we always forget to do?
Quite frankly. Oh, okay, I get it, yeah. At first I thought there's no pun in this.
Quite frankly,
it's just a
my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, quite frankly, Mbeumo doesn't care for Spurs.
Yeah.
It's something.
It's so...
Isn't it? It exists. No producer cam tonight, and I think that's a tell on the known quality of the puns that are about to come up.
Yeah, I think that as well.
I think this is very much, I forgot to... Oh, so annoying the day you wanted to say everything was shocking.
Yeah.
We didn't have the camera on that day. So we'll keep an eye on it, whether they knew what they were doing when they didn't set up producer cam tonight.
Yeah, I think you might be right. We'll see how... It's a poor start, but it can get better.
Yeah, it's not a disaster.
Yeah.
It's not, some of the offensive ones we've had down the years. It's just a little flat, but we can build on that. And Mbeumo reportedly holding out for United. This is according to the Evening Standard, but I think a few people have reported this. Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo is said to be holding out for a transfer to Manchester United, despite heavy interest coming from Tottenham. The Cameroon striker was reported to have reached an agreement with United early in the window, but since has fielded offers from Spurs, now home to Thomas Frank, as well as Arsenal and Newcastle. Said to be a childhood United fan though, and Mbeumo is prepared to wait for United to formalise their offer and get the deal over the line. There we go. That's part 1. I think this is part 2 in a second as well.
I was going to say, because I had a similar story this morning, that Spurs basically looking like they've dropped out of this, they've given up trying to get him. Yeah. I mean, it feels a bit wishy-washy as to how involved they were. We had that one report from Darren Lewis that no one else followed up on, so that makes me think he may have got that one wrong. Look, we're just waiting for that second bid, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the short and long of it. United want him. He wants United. We put in a 45 plus 10 million in add-ons, 45 million plus 10 million add-ons bid. That was the initial bid. There were reports we put in a second bid.
Yep.
I think Ben Jacobs, 1 or 2 others said that, and then James Ducker said that wasn't true, and then Ben Jacobs, 1 or 2 others rolled back on it and said, actually, no, James Ducker's right. A second official bid hasn't gone in yet. So we are still waiting for that second bid. I said this morning that I feel like that second bid is the important one because you want that to be the successful one. Because if it's not, then you've got this dilemma. Do we go in with a third one? Do Brentford have other options? It all just gets a little bit messy. So, look, I get people are impatient. I was having this discussion in one of my group chats earlier. People are a little bit impatient. We made the signing of Cunha on the 1st of June, which got everyone really excited. It's like, we're on it, we're smashing it straight away. Transfer window's opened and immediately we've got a signing made. And now, 17 days later, we have made another one, even though we want Bryan Mbeumo and everyone's got really excited for him. I get it, I understand it. But it's not that deep if we get this deal done. Yeah. If we get this deal done, fine. I'm not going to lose my marbles because it's taken 3 weeks of the transfer window being open to sign a Premier League player who's just scored 20 goals as well in the Premier League. I'm all right with that. However, if me and you stood here next week going, Mbeumo, still no second bid. Spurs, Thomas Frank's talking to him, whispering in his ear, then I will be annoyed.
Yeah.
Where's your head
Yeah,
at?
I agree. And just before I get into that, Romano's saying, my understanding is that United remain at the moment in control of the situation, in conversation with Brentford, the club-to-club talking almost on a daily basis, trying to find a solution. They're talking to the club, always in contact with player agents and with agreement with Mbeumo because the player wants to go to United. And so United remain frontrunners on this story. Despite United being the frontrunners, the Manchester club will be desperate to get a deal over the line to avoid any other clubs entering the race. I think... What's happened?
Just the opener play. It's okay.
Just played the opener again, there you go. Could anyone hear me during that, or is that just...
It played right there.
Okay, right. So, just to go over that last part again there while we turn the
I
opener
love the
off.
smooth calmness that was coming from the production desk
I was talking, all I heard was, God!
I thought like something
Absolute
terrible had happened.
Utter calm. And so United remain frontrunners on the story, despite United being the frontrunners. The Manchester club will be desperate to get a deal over that, and We get it. We just need to sort it. I completely agree with what you said, Jay. It's just do it.
Can I see your Romano and Razor and Ornstein?
Go on then.
Ornstein has said pretty much the same thing. I think he was talking on a podcast earlier. He says Manchester United are exploring doing the Mbeumo deal, and he wants to join them. There's a very good chance that deal happens, but they're not there yet. Yeah. It's more of the same.
Yes, it is.
I feel probably more confident today than I did yesterday about the deal happening, but we're still not there.
Yeah.
It does feel like this deal is going to happen sooner rather than later. Or just unfortunately for us at the minute, it's feeling like we're having to wait and be patient, and no one wants to be patient when it comes to signings, least of all me. Loads of people in the chat saying what happened there, Ross Murphy. Yeah, a little bit of a test there.
I mean, there's a reason why producer Cam isn't on today, isn't there? And I called it early on, and it's very much a sort of...
What impressed me about that, right, was the only reason we realised there'd been a mistake was when we heard just sort of shouted.
But it was whisper shouting.
Whisper shouting.
Yeah.
Of like, as you were talking, I was like, what's going on over there?
What's happened over there?
Yeah, I thought like someone had a medical emergency.
And I thought something's not right.
Do you know what I mean? Well done for dealing that though, really well. Kept the production going, spot on.
Fantastic.
Proud of both of you.
producer
Manchester Maverick says,
tonight.
bring Ethan back. Tribesman says, Mbeumo is just Jay with a beard. Is he? Do I look like him?
Absolutely not.
I don't do. I used to have a beard. I didn't look nothing like. My beard was nowhere near as good as his.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
You don't look like him at all.
I don't, do I?
No.
He's got freckles.
Freckles. He's got different eye style.
He's a bit bigger than I am.
Yeah.
Different eyes, different
the ears
ears.
are completely different.
Different nose. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say what is somewhat similar is that bit. Not the bit I'm covering, the other bit.
That bit?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's the only similarity.
If I wore like a mask and a hat.
A boom mask.
Yeah, could I pretend to be Bryan Mbeumo?
I think you could, yeah.
Right, okay, I'll have a think about that as a
into
career possibility.
Should we talk about some outs?
Yeah, let's get rid of everyone.
This is the meat.
Just sell them all.
Right, what we got outs-wise? Oh, wait, you got outs yet? Sesko.
What? Right, go on, read this one.
Benjamin says go to United, already Victor.
Benjamin says, go to United already, Victor.
Oh.
Yeah? That's
how you read it.
Yeah.
Benjamin says, go to United already, Victor. So as in Benjamin says go. Benjamin says go.
Yeah, oh right, Benjamin Sesko. Right, yeah, because he's got to Arsenal. Right, okay, yeah.
A little bit.
Not your finest hour, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
In fact, I think when all things considered so far during this live, it has been what I could only describe as a complete and utter fucking disaster.
An absolute shit
on
show,
every front.
It's been a shit show, hasn't it?
Do you know what I mean? I don't mean to be critical, and I appreciate the work that you do, but everything from the puns to the production has been shambolic. Yeah. Let's call it as it is. Yeah, we value you, you're great lads, but it has been a shambles.
It's been an absolute mess.
Yeah, it has.
But let's just go through it.
Okay.
It could get better. Sesko has reportedly agreed terms for a move to Arsenal. Gyokeres will not be granted his desired transfer. Now, this is according to the Standard. So we'll see whether it's true or not. A new twist in Arsenal's extended striker search has emerged amid reports that the Gunners have agreed personal terms with Benjamin Sesko. The club were thought to be weighing up a deal for either Sesko or Sporting's Victor Gyokeres, but look to have been priced out of a deal for the Swede. Reports from Germany claim that Sesko, currently of RB Leipzig, has agreed his contract with the club, leaving Arsenal to negotiate the terms of a sale with the Bundesliga outfit. They've been set a 60 million asking price and are expected to make an offer close to what Leipzig have requested. So obviously the reason this is relevant to Man United is we've never been linked with Sesko particularly. I think we were a couple of seasons ago, but he's not on the radar for this summer. However, Gyokeres was potentially keen on going to Arsenal. Arsenal aren't going to sign both of these guys.
No.
So if they sign Sesko instead, that kind of leaves the way, I wouldn't say free, but certainly slightly less interrupted for United to go and approach Gyokeres if they want to. Exciting? Do you care? Does you think this changes things for us, or do you think that Gyokeres is kind of an afterthought these days?
I just wonder how this pan out. I could see a scenario whereby there's like an 11th hour signing of Gyokeres.
Yeah.
I really could. I said it the other day on the Paddock podcast. I wouldn't be surprised if United don't sign him. If United aren't in for a striker, if United are looking at it going at, we've got Mbeumo, we've got Cunha, we've brought in 2 attackers, Rasmus Højlund isn't going anywhere, Joshua Zirkzee is still an option, Mason Mount is a 10, so you've got to find a way to fit him in if you're going to keep him. Ahmad maybe can play him at wing back, I get all that, but you still got 5 or 6 players for 3 positions and you ain't got European football.
Yeah.
So for a good, well, at least the first, quarter or third of the season, you've only got Premier League football once a week, usually. So they might look at it, Ineos or Amorim or whoever, and go, you know what, we're all right. With Mbeumo and Cunha coming in, I think there's goals here if you play a Zirkzee or you play a Mount or whatever, however you do it. So there might not be that keenness and the desire to bring in Victor Gyokeres that perhaps some fans have. Also as well for him, Arsenal going for Sesko, that's closed the door there. It doesn't look like Liverpool are in for him, they might have wanted a striker, it doesn't feel like there's any movement there.
No.
Newcastle have got Alexander Isak, and then we've spoken about this on the Paddock podcast, I don't want to repeat everything you said, made a great point about other clubs around Europe look pretty strong up front, maybe you could look at Barcelona, Lewandowski getting on a bit. I think Ferran Torres is there next in like the other striker they've got, maybe there's something
that's
there.
an option, but I don't think they've got the money for him either.
Yeah, they've got the money, so it feels like if he's not been sold back towards the end of the transfer window, maybe United think, shall we just chance it here with a cheeky, like, I know he's got a buyout clause, but can we just say, look, we'll give you 45 million plus add-ons on the like deadline day, and Sporting go, well, he's spat his dummy out, we're not going to get anything else for him, let's just take it. Maybe that could happen, but at the minute, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere, and it looks like he's getting a bit knocked off of it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's all gone a bit slower than they thought it might, and this whole back and forth with Sporting, where it's this public fight over how much they're willing to sell him for, doesn't help anyone. Doesn't help Sporting sell him. Doesn't help Gyokeres in terms of people going, oh, let me just enter that negotiating room. I know people just assume and hope that these things will get sorted because it's high-end football and there's a lot of money floating around. But people in every walk of life, in every job, prefer and are more drawn to dealing with people that are easy to deal with, that seem logical, that seem sort of, generally, you can predict what they're going to do, they are reliable, and you can go in there knowing that it's going to be done in good faith. It seems like, from a distance at least, this whole Gyokeres to leave Sporting situation is a bit of a nightmare at the minute.
Well, don't you find that weird? Because Sporting always seem like a club that are relatively easy to deal with and have a good relationship with the players. You look at, is it the kid who went to Chelsea, is it Giovanni Kanda?
Yeah.
I know he's not going for a year, so that probably made it easier. But there's no dramas there, was there?
No.
And I know he's not a bigger transfer as Gyokeres and all the rest of it, but it was literally like, it came up from almost nowhere. Chelsea have done a deal for Kanda, he's going to go there in 2026.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, okay.
Sorted.
Even like getting Amorim, I know we had to pay a bit extra, but we wanted their manager in the middle of a season when they were flying, and we managed to get it done. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like this one.
Well, maybe that indicates something then. Maybe that is a good point, and maybe it suggests that there actually isn't as much interest in Gyokeres right now as we all thought there'd be. Maybe it's not this spat that's slowing things down. Maybe it just is a genuine lack of play. Clubs wanting to pay 60 to 80 million.
Do you reckon his agent's fucking shitting himself?
Maybe, yeah.
Hasn't he gone with Finger?
There was No, it was one of those things. There was reports that it's Mendes, isn't it? The agent, the super agent.
Jorge Mendes.
Jorge Mendes, that he has become involved with the situation.
What's that mean?
I don't know. It basically
Become
means
involved.
he's gonna
That's
get
a new one.
couple of million quid.
He's become involved.
Yeah.
In the situation.
He's sort of been drafted in.
That just seems like he's
Like the
stuck his
French
nose
Foreign
in.
Legion
Well,
or
you're getting
something.
involved in a situation for it. It's got fuck all to do with you.
I know.
It feels like one of them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like his agent knows, doesn't it? This is the time I'm going to get some dough.
Yeah.
I'm going to get like 6 or 7 million quid out of this.
Yeah.
If I wait a year, I ain't going to get that much.
Yeah.
I need him gone now. And all of a sudden, he's just scored 102 goals, whatever it is, in 2 seasons. And no fucker wants him. What's going on? This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe United know that as well and are playing
Yeah,
hardball a little bit.
maybe we even going from next year, which is always like a horrible scenario for most people. But if he doesn't leave Sporting, maybe next year he's a lot cheaper and he's still only 28. Maybe that's a attractive proposition.
Yeah. Me and Joe talked about this on the video earlier, of like, if United want to win the league in 3 years, which is the aim, that's what, Omar Brada said privately and publicly, then United have to get, it's not about getting everyone in now, it's about over the next 3 summers getting 90% or 85% of the transfers right.
Yeah.
Because if you sign 12 players over the next 3 years, and then 2 winters as well, if you sign 12 players and 10 of them or 9 of them are the player that you thought you were buying and they're successful, you can be challenging for league titles in 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's not just about getting anyone or getting players because of X, Y, and Z. It's about getting the right players. So it doesn't really matter if we sign Gyokeres now or next summer, or if he's no good, if we don't sign him at all. It's about getting the right player at some point in the next 3 years so that this squad can come together and sort of crescendo with title challenges.
Yeah.
If we don't like him or if we don't think now's the right time, don't do it. We have to get things right, and we can't afford mistakes. Certainly 65, 70 million pound mistakes, we can't afford them. So we have to do what we think is right, and hopefully the judgment of those people making those decisions is good enough that they will be the right decision.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Ross says, buy no striker, Jay. Are you on the Ineos payroll? No, I'm not saying we shouldn't buy a striker. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. Yeah. Because we haven't got loads of money. We apparently still want a number 8 as well. And I just wonder whether the manager's looking at it going, if I've got 2 attackers and I've got to prioritise other areas as well with a limited budget, maybe we don't buy a striker. If it was up to me, I would go out and I'd get one. I'd probably go for Gyokeres if we could get him.
One way we can boost that budget, have a bit more money to spend on multiple different players, selling people. Now we are getting to some
in time
apps.
we did.
Here we go, what we got? Here we go. Nah, you read this one.
Nah, please, just leave already. Fucking hell. I just smacked myself in the face. I was that annoyed with that.
Yeah, I think you should.
Nah, please, just leave already. What are we doing here? Nah, please.
Napoli's.
I get it, Napoli. Nah, please, just leave already. Do you know what? It's growing on me.
Is Napoli's... You're not Napoli's if you're from Napoli.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, please,
Near
just
Neapolitan.
leave already. It's all right. It's the best one of the day.
It's the best one of the day.
Which isn't saying much.
No.
That's like, it's...
It's the best... you know what? I'll just say that. It's the best one of the day.
How about just it's the best?
Oh, don't get too excited.
It's the best. No, you don't want it's the best. You don't, because if we say it's the best, that might make it sound like it's the best you've ever done.
Yeah.
I know
We
you don't
don't
want people to think this is
infantilise,
your
yeah.
greatest ever work.
Okay, fine.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we say it's the best today,
Yeah.
that's like, okay, yeah, today's not been that, great. That's all right. If we say this is the best that producer Ben's ever done, or producer Harry, then people are going to think you're rubbish.
Yeah. We don't want that.
I don't want that.
Makes us look bad. Right. Napoli are pursuing a possible second signing from the Premier League. Jadon Sancho. The Englishman, I love that, the Englishman has given his yes to the possibility of moving to Italy. There are conditions for an agreement, but Manchester United's economic request is high. The winger has yet to reach an economic agreement with Manchester United. The English club has a high asking price for the player, €25 million, despite his contract expiring in 2026.
Very bizarre sentence there. Well, very bizarre sentences.
Do you know when they used to they would uncover some old sort of World War One diary entries or letters to back home?
Yeah.
This feels like it was written in that time, doesn't it? Yeah. The Englishman has given his yes to the possibility of moving to Italy. What, on the front lines?
Yeah.
This is proper World War One letters.
Have you ever
stuff.
given your yes to anything?
Well, certainly to the possibility of moving to Italy, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say? Would you say that your economic request is high?
That's been my undoing so many
hasn't
times.
it?
My economic requests have been so high. Honestly, it's proper on me back in life. Yeah, just very weirdly worded.
With Sky Sports Italy, so some credibility.
Yeah, listen, it makes sense. I actually think he'd do well for Napoli. They've just got De Bruyne in. They obviously got a retune out of Scott McTominay.
Yeah.
And Jadon Sancho, I imagine teams and clubs look at him and see a player that absolutely tore it up at Dortmund, that see a player that got to the Champions League final a year ago, see a player that scored in the Europa Conference final, see a player that is exciting and can be exciting to watch and is capable of getting goals and assists, even though he's not prolific in that front, not since he left Dortmund the first time. And think there's a player there, and if we can get him for a decent fee, it could make sense. The issue is the fucking wages. Everyone's looking at it, and Napoli will not be paying anyone 250k a week, or certainly not Jadon Sancho. No. So that's the issue. And it just feels like we're going to be sat in pre-season watching him playing for United again with a face like Slap Sands. You don't want to be here because no one's coming for him. I just hope this can get moved along. And I think that maybe as it gets sort of into the window, he might start looking at his wages and think, I might have to take a bit of a hit. I actually don't say this very often, but I did sympathise with him somewhat with the Chelsea offer. 90k a week when you're on 250k a week. It is a lot to lose. I know that's still a lot more money than certainly will earn. But I understand that as a pay cut, you might go, I'm going down, almost losing 2/3 of my wage. I understand that might not be attractive to someone, but at some point he's going to have to take a pay cut because he ain't going to get 250k a week. No. You just hope he'll hope it's like someone offers him, I don't know, say 200k a week or whatever. Yeah. And if United take a cut price on his transfer fee, maybe that deal can get over the line. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, he's got to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
You've got to. And also, let's be honest, there's only 1 year left on his deal. He's had most of this pay now. You've had the lion's share of the 250 grand a week deal that he signed. He's had it. He's been here for 4 years.
Yeah.
So at some point, you either take a pay cut or you end this season and you don't have any pay anymore because you aren't, no club, you don't belong to any club. So what's going to happen is you either go for a fee now, you probably get a portion of that fee, and depending on how it works, it obviously each deal is different. You go for a pay cut while there's still some stock left in him, while there's still some interest in him around the top clubs in Europe, elite teams as well. If this is true, Napoli is the best team in Italy this year and would have a good chance of winning the title again, especially now Inter's manager's left. They're the nearest rival, and they've got a new manager that we'll have to see how good he is. But what's the alternative? 12 months' time you leave, you're a free agent, and then it's literally whoever will sign me, I have to take it.
Do you think that we might think of, I'm just playing devil's advocate or just
go on.
Coming up with an idea. Do you think he might think, okay, if his contract expires, because in that position he'd go for free, he could get more wages because the club's
but then what is his career?
I understand.
At that point, you might as well go to Saudi.
Yeah.
Because if you're willing to just completely give away another season of your career, you had the one where he was in the Netherlands for 3 months. You had the one where you've been on loan to Chelsea. Are you going to really give away another one of your mid-20s for a few extra grand a week?
It's been. I know you make your own look to a certain degree, but it has been quite fortunate with a couple of these loan spells as well. Because that one at Dortmund wasn't amazing like people made out. He had that very good game in the semi-final first leg against PSG. But other than that, it was okay, and he ended up in a Champions League final.
Yeah.
The second one at Chelsea, there was a time when the Chelsea fans had completely turned against him. That's why he didn't start the big game of the season, the Europa League final, the Europa Conference final.
Yeah.
He came on as a sub, admittedly he scored, but he ends up scoring in a final, getting a winner's medal. In 2 seasons, he's played in 2 European finals, I think it is.
Yeah.
And there is an air of luck in that as well. It's not like he's been a big part of, you could argue because of his performance against PSG, he did play a part in the Dortmund final, but it wasn't an amazing loan spell. Yeah. And the second one at Chelsea wasn't an amazing loan spell, but he's ended up, 2 European finals, a winner's medal, albeit in the lesser competition, and scoring as well. So he's been a little bit fortunate to some degree. Listen, I'd love it if Jadon Sancho just went to Napoli for 25 million quid, and we can just all move on for him because I'm proper done in with it all.
He needs to.
It's been a disastrous signing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think in terms of expectation and what we've seen, there's only Alexis Sanchez who's similar to me. Because I think some signings you go, that didn't really work out, or that was a waste of money. Like maybe Angel Di Maria, but even with Di Maria, there was always this sort of air that he didn't want to be here.
And also, for the season he was here, it was better. He was better in that season than Sancho or Sanchez were for any season.
Yeah, that's a good fault. That's a good point.
It wasn't horrendously bad.
No, the first few months he was really good.
He underwhelmed a little bit, but the big issues were he didn't quite hit the heights that we expected of him, admittedly, on the pitch. Yeah. But it was off the field stuff where he clearly.
And you still got a good fee for him, didn't you?
Yeah, and we got 45 million for a player.
We lost money, but it wasn't like we lost.
Or 54 for someone we paid 64.
Yeah,
it
was like we lost 30 million or something. Yeah. It was sort of a wrong tackle where you lost money, but it wasn't horrendous. So yeah, that's a fair point. I think only Alexis Sanchez was actually flattered to deceive as much as Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
And the thing with Jadon Sancho is he ticked all the boxes. He was young. His record, his numbers were amazing. Yeah. You know, he obviously he'd been in England before. He's English. You thought, okay, he can handle the Premier League. I know he ain't playing in the Premier League, but he's been around it. You think, okay, this could all work. Just what we need, and it's just never got going at all. And then the fallout, first with Ten Hag, and now falling out with Amorim, but seemingly simple to requirements. It's just been horrendous. Sonny Pilgrim says Sancho should be put in the 21s. Side note, but Joe absolutely whooped my ass out back of Asda last week. Kudos. Oh, right, so you had a fight outside Asda. Is that why you're wearing your cap? Oh, big and hard now, are we? Yeah. Joshua Bowwater says, Jorge Mendes is now Emi Martinez's agent and working on Gyokeres' exit. He does famously like to move two players to a club at a time. Something in it.
Interesting.
Maybe. Miles says, Sanchez could at least play the piano. It's a good point.
Yeah, it's a good point. What we got next, 'cause I think it's another out. Less money, nicer villa. There was a gasp behind that.
There was a gasp almost of shame that he come up with it. I mean, you know when people say, I don't hate it?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, when people say that, I'm not going to say that because I do hate it.
It's just proper, just put less money, nicer villa. Who cares? Yeah. Come on.
Come on.
Do you know what I mean?
Maybe
not
it was,
a fan.
Maybe it's Harvey who's actually the sort of the brains of the operation.
Well, David's usually coming up with a couple of good ones as well. Is he not helping?
So when you said that, David went like this.
Yeah.
So maybe
I think I don't know. I think collectively tonight, it's a collective responsibility.
Yeah. We know why there's no producer cam, don't we? We know why.
Yeah, you did the right thing not having a producer cam.
Because it came down and they said, oh, we ain't got one because we had a few extra stories.
Yeah, he did. He's trying to give me all that spiel, didn't he?
That wasn't
not your best work.
Rashford is reportedly willing to make a key sacrifice in order to secure his ideal move away from Manchester United. That sounds like he's willing to do a deal with the devil. Or
it sounds like is he going to chop off the head of a lamb?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a key sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like he was going to do an actual one.
Yeah, very
okay.
Odd. Barcelona are interested in Rashford, with Manchester Evening News reporting in January that United held discussions with a Spanish agency regarding a potential transfer before he moved to Villa. Sporting director Deco, that's Barca's sporting director, has even told Catalan radio station RAC1 last month, or RAC1 last month, we like Lewis, we like Marcus Rashford, we like other players. Okay, cool. In a new update from Marca, Rashford is apparently willing to supplement the fact that his price tag would likely be smaller than Nico Williams by making sacrifices, including those financially. Here's my question for you, Jay. We all understand what a financial sacrifice is, taking less wages, not necessarily needing to be paid as much. It says here that making sacrifices, including those financially. Could you give me a couple of examples of non-financial sacrifices that you think Marcus Rashford would be willing to make to get this deal done? In sort of suggested by the MEN here.
Well, I think he'd be sacrificing living within driving distance of the Trafford Centre.
And the smell that comes with that.
The smell that comes with that.
The associated pong of
£2
nearby sewage.
£2 buses. Probably won't get that in Barcelona.
€2 buses, maybe.
So there's a bit of a sacrifice.
Yeah.
What else is there? And just, maybe bumping into one of the stars of Corrie when he's out drinking.
That's a really good point.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
Less Greg's, fewer Greg's. Yeah. So they're the sort of sacrifices I think you're talking about. I don't know what they're on about here. I don't think they know.
I think they just mean financial sacrifices,
yeah, I think they do.
I, when it says including those financially, I think that is overly wordy guff.
Not only is that untrue, it's false.
It's not, yeah. To quote Ted Cruz, not only is that untrue, it's false. Which is one of the great quotes out of many from that interview that came out tonight, by the way. It makes sense. This is one of those things, though, isn't it? We spoke to Peter Hall last week. There's this ongoing love affair between Marcus Rashford and Barcelona, and it kind of has that feeling of like, I don't know, someone at school when you fancy him, they've got a girlfriend, and then or a boyfriend or whatever, and then when you ain't got a girlfriend, they fancy you, and it never quite lines up, and then actually eventually you're both single, and you go, I'm not that bothered now.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
Like, this could happen now. Yeah. They literally want a left winger. Yeah. They are desperate for a new winger at the club, Barcelona. Rashford has to leave Manchester United. It's all there. All of this posturing, there was talks in COVID that they fancied it, that there was offers, 60 million this, all that, building. You can literally just do it now, give us 40 million and you get your Rashford and he'll make any sort of sacrifice, financially or otherwise apparently, and yet the interest isn't there.
No.
It doesn't seem to actually be amounting to anything. And I just think, I don't really understand why not. And if there is no interest and this isn't going to happen, why are we still being strung along that Barcelona might sign him? Is he like the third or fourth choice behind Diaz? There's another name linked with him as well. I can't remember who that was now. Who was it? Who else Barca had been linked with in that position? There was someone else. It wasn't just Luis Diaz and Rashford, because I think they moved on from Diaz after Liverpool basically went, you're not having him.
Yeah.
There's other names anyway. Is he just the fourth or fifth choice? I don't know. And if he is, it's bad for Man United because not only might they sign someone else and never buy him, but we might be dragged along all summer while they go through their list.
Yeah.
And eventually...
Nico Williams,
that's it. Eventually, they might come to United and Rashford in late August and go, yeah, right, it's on.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, we have got Nico Williams now.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a nightmare situation,
I think maybe if Marcus Rashford is really keen for this move, if he's willing to take a huge pay cut, and it might have to be a huge one, it might have to like half his wages, then maybe he can make that happen. And it might, for him, the move to Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world, for his brand as well, I'm playing for Barcelona, I'm at one of the biggest clubs in the world, there's probably more money to be made out the other side of being part of that Barcelona team, that he might have looked at it and go, it's fucking worth it. It's worth losing £1 million a week or a month or whatever if it's going to get me playing for one of the giants of world football. And he could probably tear it up there if he's got his head on.
Yeah,
so he might look at it and go, look, I can try and force the issue here by going to Barcelona and getting his agents to go to Barcelona and saying, look, he'll take a big pay cut to come here. He's really keen on this move. So you've just got to do a deal with Manchester United. But you like to say, they wanted Nico Williams, they were in for Luis Diaz. It doesn't feel like they're too keen on Marcus Rashford. Maybe he can out of that if he's willing to do a big deal on his wages. I don't know.
If he goes somewhere, by the way, he could be sensational for someone, especially outside the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like, look at some of the players that stand out for teams in the leagues that we're talking about. Like, no offence to Rafinha, but he's literally got 50 goals and assists this season, and we know roughly how good he is. He's probably gone up a level, but we know that he's not the best player in the world, and yet look at him fly at Barcelona. You look to the Italian league, look at that Inter team, the likes of sort of Marcus Thuram flying, and when you watch him play, I know he's a number 9, but Rashford can play there as well. He's a little bit clunky and he doesn't quite have, the sort of details that Rashford has got in his game. The likes of Lukaku, again, has continued to thrive season after season in Italy, despite having poor and sort of increasingly poor seasons back in England. Then you look at, someone like Rafael Leao, who's sort of hailed as a great wing. Marcus Rashford is twice the player that he is.
Yeah, people don't like to say that.
No, but he is. If you can get the Marcus Rashford that we have seen probably 100 plus times for Manchester United in his career for us, maybe more, maybe 200 plus times, let's be honest, we've seen him play really well a lot, then they are easily getting a £40 million player, easily. But someone's just got to take that risk, haven't they? Do you get the Marcus from the last 2 seasons, or do you get the one from the 3 out of 4 seasons before that? If you're getting that guy, 40 million quid and 180 or 200 grand a week is a no-brainer. But I think teams are a little bit reluctant, especially when you've got younger options as the alternatives.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise around Marcus Rashford that isn't great in there as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we hear it, other clubs that are looking at him and spending a lot of money hear it as well.
Point.
And there's always this sort of rumours, and they might just be rumours, they might not be true, but there is a lot of noise around him, and you wonder where the clubs who are doing their due diligence going, nah, just avoid him. I don't know.
Although you look at it,
I don't know.
Look at all the videos of Scott McTominay after Napoli won the league. He's got a cigarette in his hand on every single one of them.
Yeah.
I think the whole sort of like, one of the things that people talk about with Rashford is going out, there was the Belfast thing. There was other reports of him being on nights out before training or games or whatever. I wonder if some of that is sort of tolerated a little bit more in other countries.
Well, I think if you're celebrating winning a title, you can go out and smoke crack.
But
no one will be asked.
I know he's a keeper.
Do you know what I mean? It's if your team's 7th in the table.
Imagine, he's got McTominay fucking smoking a crack pipe. And I was like, hey, go on, Scott.
It's not every day you win the league. Give us a bit of that spice. What a lad, eh? Who cares? He scored 13 goals this season. He can do what he wants. No, but do you know, if he's celebrating, people are more... The trouble with Marcus is it felt like he was going out and doing things he shouldn't be doing in the middle of a relatively shit season for Manchester United. Correct. So we'll see. I hope it's all nonsense and he's got his head on.
Nice?
I want to see him do well somewhere.
I was just going to say, wouldn't it be lovely?
I don't hate
Marcus
Rashford.
We see Marcus Rashford, doing heroin on the open-top bus of a treble-winning Napoli team.
What's Rashford doing now with that tinfoil on that bus?
Go on, son! 5 at him and Scott McTominay
he just absolutely smacks out of the head. Danny Shields, who's been a member of the first team for 53 months, says, "Night, gentlemen, always a pleasure." Thank you, Danny. Thank you for your massive support as well. Yes. 53 months is amazing.
Right.
Come on, let's whiz through these.
Co-owners, are you for real, Betis? Better.
Much better.
Betis.
Yeah.
Get that producer cam back on.
Yeah.
Love all that,
you've
mate.
earned it.
Man United make big... fucking sacrifice again! Make big Antony sacrifice. Honestly, there's an altar. Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers with their hoods up and their gowns on, fucking cutting the necks of medium-sized mammals. What are all these sacrifices going on here? Bloody hell. Manchester United make big Antony sacrifice as Star closes in on an unusual transfer agreement. Now, this is according to Team Talk.
It's via something else. It's via a publication in Sevilla, thank you.
Called?
It's ABC de Sevilla.
Yeah.
ABC de Sevilla.
Yeah.
ABCDSEVILLA.
Yeah. So we took it from Team Talk, but it's originally from there.
Let's do this. Manchester United are understood to be increasingly open to the possibility of granting Antony a dream transfer away from Old Trafford. Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Now, according to ABCDESEVILA, officials from Betis travelled to England last week for talks with United counterparts to try and thrash out a deal, and in the meeting, they're understood to have proposed a deal that would see them pay just £17 million. Jay? That's 20 million euros, that's $23 million. If we can get that in
Drachma.
Kuwaiti dinar as well, that would be fantastic. To become part owners of the player. Under the proposal, they would look to increase that ownership of the player, initially set at 50%, by a further 12.5% each year over a 4-year period until achieving full ownership. Jay, it's like renting a Land Rover.
It is like
what in the Part X is going on here?
I like this.
What? How is it legal? How do you mean? How can we like this?
Look, if this is going to get him out the door for some dough, then let's just do it, because we need to start getting some money in. And also, we wanted around 25 million for him at first, didn't we? Yeah. I think it's gone up to maybe 30 million. So 70 million, and then that increases. That all makes sense. Just get him back there. He's loving it there. They love him. They pay us 70 million now and the rest later on. I can live with that. I honestly can. Just the idea of another just complete loan there just worries me. And also, let's be honest, it doesn't look like anyone else is coming in for him. We keep saying, Leverkusen are coming in for him because Ten Hag just loves buying Antony. That's what he does. But they haven't yet.
No.
So if they're not, and United are sat there going, well, if it's Real Betis, forgive me, Real Betis, or he comes back to Old Trafford, then this is what's going to have to do. It's not great, but it'll do.
I've never heard of this. I genuinely didn't know this was legal. I don't know what this is. Because also, let's say you own 50% of the player.
Yeah.
So let's say we own 50%, Betis own 50% for 12 months. Let's say he smashes it again. He's got 9 goals, 8 assists between now and January. Let's say Real Madrid come to us and go, we want to give you 65 million for this guy. He's phenomenal. He's only 26 years old, whatever how old. And we want to sell him for 60 million. And Betis go, oh no, you can't, because we're doing this deal. And they don't want to sell him. And we both own 50%.
Yeah.
Is that, how can this work?
I understand. We had this issue, didn't we? Was it Tevez was third party ownership, so we didn't actually own him, we loaned him. and then we all know how that fucking worked out when he decided he wanted to go to City. So it's not ideal. I'm just getting to the point now where I just want some of these players gone.
Yeah,
I'm not hating on Antony.
I'm
not before everyone starts. He's had a very good spell at Real Betis. Just we need to start moving some of these players on. And yes, we should be getting 30 million for him after the season he's just had. But if it's this or nothing, and at the minute I don't see anyone else coming in for him, then maybe we just have to bite the bullet and do something as crazy as this, as long as it is legal. But
I wonder if this is going to be. I mean, if this is, I don't know if this has been a crude translation or something. If it is as it seems, I wonder if this is something that will happen more commonly or will happen at all going forward, with everyone being seemingly at the limit of FFP constantly.
Yeah.
This feels like a creative way to sell players to teams who don't have as much money as
I don't know how much I trust the powers that be, but maybe they can work this out so it is a decent deal for Manchester United. We'll have to wait and see. There's lots of ifs and buts, and at the minute it's only like one outlet that's reporting it, so I don't want to get too carried away. What's next?
Yes, this is an interesting one. Ineos calls up a stink.
What?
Musty. Stinky, smelly, mold.
This right. You're not here. The viewers at home aren't hearing everything that's being sort of chipped in from a distance. Right? This is the worst pun we've ever had. This is the worst pun we've ever had, and I'll tell you, there's multiple reasons why. Because Ineos calls up a stink isn't a sentence. Doesn't make any sense. And secondly, apparently the reasoning for this was that the word must and musk, as in like something being a bit musky or musty, I guess, musty, is a sort of smell.
Yeah. This is one of the few puns that actually got worse when it was explained to me. It was bad as it started, but then when it explained it, it made it worse. Don't huff and puff behind that production desk at me. Oh, like some sort of Vincent van Gogh who's just misunderstood during your lifetime. Oh, these Philistines don't understand my genius.
Cut his own ear off.
Yeah, like proper annoyed at the absolute knobheads you have to work with who don't understand your genius.
You simply wouldn't get it, Jay.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I wasn't meant to vocalise that.
Well, you did vocalise it very loudly.
Right, it is. Let's get into this. We've all heard it. We can pretend we haven't seen it, but we have. This is the story. Ticket price rises, kick in the teeth, says Man United fans and must. United fans have accused the club of giving fans a kick in the teeth after announcing ticket prices could reach £97. The most expensive matchday tickets at Old Trafford last season were £66. It means the lowest priced ticket for a Premier League game is £37. For the two Category C matches against Sunderland and Wolves. For that figure rises to 97 for the highest priced tickets in Category A against Big Six teams. Club officials argue that the 97 applies to less than 1% of the available tickets. The Man United Supporters Trust, have said that after how last season went, we might have hoped the club would reconsider their plans for this new ticketing model. This is a fresh kick in the teeth for Manchester United fans. Jay Mottazed, you've been to more Manchester United games than I have. Obviously, I have my opinions on this. But
and whether I've been to one game, no games, or 1,000 games, this affects all Manchester United fans because it's the club we all love, and it's not great to see. This whole sort of the ticket price rise itself is pretty horrendous. Like I think it's something like 17 of the tickets, 17 of the games, which is basically almost all of them, we're going to go up to 66 quid, up to. Are going to rise, so the cheapest ticket is 50 odd quid, I think it was. And then there's like the one game where it's a bit lower. There's also, this feels like it's a step towards dynamic pricing, where it's like, it's United versus Liverpool, right, all tickets that aren't season tickets are going to be 100 quid or whatever. Yeah. It feels like you're getting towards that. So it does worry me. I know the 1958, who we quote tweeted earlier, have spoken about it. Must have obviously spoken out about it. I mean, look, he's not winning any friends at the minute, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, are they? They're not endearing themselves to the Manchester United fan base. And I think the only way fans will stomach all of this, and a lot of fans won't regardless, but the only way some fans will stomach it, I should say, is if we start seeing a turnaround in terms of what we're seeing on the pitch, in terms of the money, the way it's being spent, if you see an improvement on the whole of Manchester United Football Club, where you can go, okay, we're suffering these what seem like horrendous decisions because it's for the greater good. But at the minute, we've just finished 15th. Yeah, we lost the final to Spurs. We ain't got Champions League football next season. We haven't. I know it's only early days, but it's not like we've gone turbo in the transfer market where you go, wow, we're absolutely splashing the cash. And we might, we're going to have a new stadium in 10 years. What would we fucking do? At the minute, it's a lot to take in it. It's just a lot of bad news coming from Ineos and their decisions. And yeah, it does feel like a kick in the teeth to fans. And my kids aren't season ticket holders. And the two youngest, they like to go to Old Trafford. I took them several times last season. I want to do it again next season. And there's a good chance I won't have to go. Do you know what I mean? I have to make a decision where you go, I know it's different, it can be different for certain ages and stuff, but where it's not, you go, right, I can't afford that. And I think we saw it certain games last season where they did this and then they sort of rolled it back. Now they're moving forward with it again. It's not good, is it? It's not good at all.
No, it's not. And it is the jump in pricing, and like you said, certain games costing more than others because they're higher demand games. It's putting capitalism and it's putting the known kind of surge pricing because, well, we can sell them for more, so we will sell them for more. That is the bit that is a little bit, it's gross because it means that we know that, we'll have excess people applying for Liverpool and Arsenal and City and Liverpool and these other
Sorry, is
games.
it two Category C matches? Sorry, not one. Sorry, yeah.
We know that these people, there'll be more people, so therefore there'll be more rich people, therefore we can charge 97 quid because there'll be a higher number of people who have got 97 quid spare than there will be for people applying for the Sunderland and Wolves games, which again doesn't make me feel nice as a United fan where you think, if you ain't got a lot of money, you can go to these two shit games, but if you ain't got a lot of money, you're not allowed to go to the big games. What kind of precedent is that, really? I just think it's gross. I mean, it is worth saying just from a full picture standpoint, the season ticket prices, they haven't been altered in the same way, have they?
No,
they are.
I think it's 5% increase for season tickets, which again, we had a price freeze for many years, then you get a 5% increase, a lot of anger towards that, and I think some of the sort of the new regulations and stipulations they've brought in with season tickets about if I can't get to a game, how difficult it is for me to pass on my ticket. If I wanted to give my ticket to Joe, for example, it's almost impossible now. Where if it's my ticket, I paid for it, why the fuck can't I give it to my mate? Yeah. You have to jump through so many hoops, it's almost untenable. That is another issue though. Whenever I see Ineos in a sentence recently, it deflates me. So we'll see where this leads to. DIY Motors says, does Jay get self-conscious? Does Jay get self-conscious, one, when in the throes of passion, your wife shouts, Justin?
Really?
No, she doesn't call me that.
I don't think she's calling you that. I think she's...
Say Justin.
I think she's declaring the situation at hand.
Yeah, I've had them ones before. Yeah, I do get self-conscious. That's why we don't have sex. Right, one more.
Speaking of... Everton have...
Speaking of cocks.
Don't say it out loud. Everton have nicked Cox. That works, because he's called Nick Cox. Not bad. Right. Arguably the best one of the night.
Yeah, Everton have nicked Cox.
They have. It's simple as that.
It's so simple and effective. Yeah? And that's what we want. Nice bit of simple, effective punditry.
To be fair, if you wanted to really simplify it, it could have just been Nick Cox. That's the headline. That could have worked. This one's a little bit more descriptive. I don't mind it. Very good. Everton have secured a move for Manchester United Academy director Nick Cox. James Ducker repeating the same vibe. He's going from Man United to Everton. Interesting because this feels like one of the few sort of change-ups at Manchester United in this kind of leadership team that wasn't, directed and orchestrated by Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe and the likes. This seems like someone who we didn't want to lose, who has left to get a better job at Everton. Is the technical director there, which again is obviously a step up from being academy director.
We're going to do something on this next week, me and Finn.
Yeah.
Finn's been all over this. He did an interview with Nick Cox, I don't know when, I'll say a couple of months ago. So he's got a big opinion on this. He knows sort of the job that Nick Cox has done very well.
Yes.
He's written about it extensively. He's done an interview with him, like I just said. And I spoke to Finn today, and he's like, look, should we get into this properly next week? So we'll do a bit of a deep dive into Nick Cox's departure, some of the other changes we're seeing, what this means for the academy, and what Manchester United are going to do moving forward.
Yeah.
Because the academy is obviously meant to be front and centre of anything Ineos want to do.
Yeah.
And losing your academy director when you've obviously had a very successful spell isn't a positive move.
No.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and it's been like you
Mate.
said, a fantastic sort of run over the last handful of years, hasn't it, in the academy?
Yeah, someone said, Jay, your lady friends in the chat. Oh, yes, good to see Miss Man United in there. Coach Zach, USMC Vet, says, I have nothing to add or question. Just want to say thank you to the hard work you two do, along with everyone else at Paddock. Thank you.
Thank you very
Coach
much.
Zach.
That goes to you guys as well, behind the camera.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. He's actually added even those two behind the camera. Which is nice of him to say. Right, I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're going to be back tomorrow. We've got the news in the morning. We've got me, you, Steve, McCullough tomorrow for Off the Bar. So make sure if you're not doing so already, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Go and check him out on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. You know where to find me. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. This has been Transfers Live. Thanks for watching.